director of player personnel. I think as many coaches that want to stay with you and maybe don't have that dream of being a coordinator or a head football coach is important too. And I think the athletic director is really important to me too. And I think it all goes into a formula because you're going to go through some really good times together. I mean, Saturday was really, really fun, right? But we've gone through some really hard times together. And you want those people there when you're going through those really hard times because you know what you're going to do to respond. Cultures are all about connecting people. And that's how I define culture. It connects people. Now, that doesn't mean it's always good. It's always positive. It's always fun. That's not true. But when you have a group of connected people who've been together for a long time, you know how they're going to respond, which is critical in knowing how to lose and also knowing how to win. And it's critical for the development and the future of the program that you're constantly looking for, hey, this is our system. Remember, we've had the same defensive system here, but we've had multiple coordinators run it. We've had the same offense, but we've adapted it over time based on what our players can do and what our coaches want to make their own wrinkle to it. But we know what works here, what type of person works here. If all those roles are constantly changing, then you kind of have a hodgepodge, and it's really hard to connect all those people to really, one, have success, but two, when adversity hits, to really row through all of that. If we had row the boat one year and something else another year, it just seems like it's reactionary. Row the boats, row the boat. Whether it's good times, hard times, calm seas, storms, row the boat. And our players have that embedded in them, and so does our coaching staff. But I think that athletic director piece of that is critical because I have a boss who allows me to be me. And then as a head football coach, that reciprocates and that goes down to our players. I want them to be who they are. We all answer to the culture, including me. I'm no bigger than the culture I create. I work for the same culture that I hold my players accountable for, the same expectations that I'd hold myself accountable for. I'm never going to ask them to do something I wouldn't do myself. And I think that's really important as you go from year to year to year to year. And maybe some faces change, but the culture, right, the way you connect people, the way you bring people into the culture, into the program, the systems and the approach you have through the good and the bad, that part doesn't change. And you're willing to adapt to everything else that comes your way. But that culture doesn't change, and I think that's really important. Everybody knows what to expect. People can say what they want about me, us, our program, our culture, row the boat. Everybody knows what to expect. And I think that's the head coach's job, is to be the cultural coach, the expectation coach, the accountability coach, and everybody who walks in the door every single day knows exactly what to expect. And I know what to expect of what my job is and how I'm held accountable to it. And I think that's what's really important about it.
With the defense and talk about same system but new coordinator this year, what are some of the wrinkles or stamps you think Danny has put on it that have really resonated or been effective?
That's a really good question. I think that Danny's got his own way. He's been with me 13 years, so he's seen 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, he's seen 4 coordinators before him. That's a lot, and you see it within the same system, and then you make it your own. I see us, I think we're still really aggressive, but I thought last year we were ultra aggressive. Whether you want to talk about blitzing or whether you want to talk about assignments, whether you want to talk about, hey, we're just going to let them play fast, and if that happens, it happens. I think Danny checks every single box, and Danny is really, really disciplined. And Danny allows the guys to still play fast by checking all the boxes. It's not necessarily, hey, we're doing this coverage a little bit more, we're playing this a little bit more, because it's not about just that, because I think your personnel allows you to do those things, whatever that is. We've had a lot of guys play at corner and a lot of young guys play at corner. So it's not like, hey, we have these 2 first-round draft pick corners and we're going to play man coverage, that's all we're going to play because of that. So you have to adapt that. But I think Danny's he's when I look at the whole picture, I think he's a combination between Rossi and Heatherman. And you put those together, Danny checks every box. He's very diligent. We do a lot, but he also allows our guys to play really, really fast. And sometimes when you're doing a lot, sometimes guys can't play as fast. The way he does it within his system and the way we're doing it is we're doing a lot, but our guys are allowed to play really fast because it's pretty simple to them. Looks like a lot, feels like a lot, but it is pretty simple based on the teachings that he does. So I think that's maybe the little bit of a nuance and difference. Not that anything's been better or worse, or that's not a disrespect to any other coordinator who's been here. That's just what Danny does. And Danny's so good in front of the room. I've said, I think I told you this, is that, there were years ago, he's like, what do I have to do to be the coordinator? And I meet with all of our coaches at the end of the year. And that's always unique, because as a head coach, you're telling them what they have to get better at. What do you want them to get better at? You're listening to them tell you their dreams, right? And I think that's really fun. Sometimes it can be very uncomfortable, but those are the uncomfortable conversations, right? But I was like, Danny, you got to be better in front of the room. I mean, the whole room. And we do this thing on Thursday where I have a staff member do a team meeting. And it's our coaches series, I call it. And it could be anybody. It could be a quality control coach, it could be a student coach, it could be a coordinator. I pick somebody every single week, and on Thursday they get a chance to be the head football coach and run the team meeting in front of the whole team. It's awesome. I mean, it is awesome. Because by then the players are tired of hearing from me on our team meetings. But it's so cool to hear from our guys, and Danny would do that all the time. And every time he'd get better and better and better. I don't know if I've had a better person as an assistant, better in front of the room than him. And at one point, that wasn't his strength. So when you talk about Danny Collins, he gets a lot of credit and praise, rightfully so, for the journey of 13 years, sleeping in the janitor's closet. Like, that's all real and true. You go up there right now, he's got an air mattress. Like, that doesn't make you a good coach. But the work ethic allows you to have the best chance to maximize yourself as a really good coach. And that's what I love about Danny. I think coaches get infatuated by talking about hours we work or sleeping in the office. And I mean, I used to do the same thing, and Heather will never let me sleep in the office, ever. Nor would I want to do that ever again. That's not a macho thing to me. But he has that ready to go, because that's his way of giving himself the best chance, especially in short weeks. And I have a ton of respect for Danny and what he's been able to do. And listen, we're only going to continue to get better. We're going to change. We're going to fail. We're going to grow. There's going to be good things. There's going to be hard things. But Danny's gotten so much better at so many things, and I'm really proud of him.
What challenges does Mark Gronowski present to your team?
Where do you want to start? He runs the ball like a running back, throws it like a quarterback. He's really, really intelligent. He's different than Raiola in a lot of different areas. I mean, he is like a running back playing quarterback. So if you could take Darius and Drake and put them together, that would be him. And I think that's kind of the best way to describe him. He's a winner. All he's done is win. And I think that should never be lost on anybody. When you have a winner at quarterback, all they do is win. And I have a lot of respect for Coach Ferentz and what he's been able to do. Dave, you talked about your question of cultural sustainability. I mean, I'd probably ask him instead of me. I mean, he's been doing it way longer than me at a way higher level. And it's probably a good question for him in his postgame, because it's very impressive. And to watch their quarterback come in there and they're scoring a lot of points on offense, and he's a winner. And you can tell everything he does is really detailed, really fundamentally sound, and he's gritty, he's tough, and he understands situational football. He's a really good football player and knows the game within the game, and that's a scary combination.
You've been to Kinnick a few times now. What makes it such a difficult place for opposing teams?
It's incredibly loud. It's hostile. It's got great tradition. Their fans, they really care about Hawkeye football. It's a unique place to play, that's for sure. And somebody asked me this a long time ago. And listen, I have no problem. I'm not one of those head coaches that doesn't give anybody credit. Somebody asked me a long time ago, what's the hardest place to play? You got to take where you're at out of it, right? So where's the hardest place to play? And I've always told them Kinnick. And this goes way back, even before Western Michigan. When I was a player at Northern Illinois, I happened to play against Iowa all the time. But I remember a game when I was at Ohio State as a GA. We were number 1 in the country and went into Kinnick at night. And that was one of the most challenging environments that I watched. A national championship game team who finished, was number 1 all year and finished 2, go into that stadium. And that was the one, I thought, game on the road we struggled with. And the crowd, the atmosphere, and then you throw the football team of Iowa in there, who never beats themselves, who's really disciplined, loves playing the game. It seems like they just plug and replace. I mean, same body type, same person, same effort, same house, same system. and they win.
PJ, with the Iowa rivalry as intense as it is, playing down there,
Yeah.
the crowd, they've got some choice things, I'm sure, to say to the Gopher players and the sidelines, and it's all emotional and all that.
It's all right there on top of you. It's all really tight there on the
Yeah,
sideline.
yeah, just stands
That's what makes
right.
college football great, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So my question is, does this make the message even more in practice this week and even on Saturdays as you get ready to go out there? Do your job. Is that something very much in mind so people keep their emotions more in check and do their job?
Well, football is a game of emotions, and we want our players to play with incredible emotion. We just never want you to cross the line to emotional. Emotional is when you're letting the outside circumstance dictate your behavior, and we don't want that. We know what type of game it's going to be. We know what we have to do. We can only control what we can control. My job is to make sure we create the most hostile environment in practice all week that they've ever seen and heard. So we have a lot of things piped in to the indoor that they might hear over and over and over and over and over. We let our whole creative department come up with all types of things of what might be said, what could be said, and they hear it all week, as well as crowd noise, as well as music, as well as all the things that they have in that stadium. You'll never be able to truly simulate it or replicate it identical, but you can simulate it as best as possible, and we're going to do everything we can to create an environment all week that can give us the best chance to have success.
Does that replication even include some personal comments?
Oh, 100% it does.
Okay, so you're a bozo, number 7.
You're a bozo. That's maybe, we'll actually, Garrett, put that in there. Quote, you're a bozo. That's Dave's comment. Dave, if that's the worst thing we ever heard there, I'd take it.
Well,
I don't think kids use bozo anymore. I don't even know if they know who Bozo the Clown is. I grew up on Bozo buckets. I used to think, man, if I could just get on that show, man, I'd get all the way to 6. I had my own Bozo buckets, those red ones with the clown on them. I've lost everybody now. Now I've lost everybody for the week. Here we are. This is what midseason does to you, everyone. Talking Bozo buckets. I'm a Chicago kid. Watch Bozo buckets.
I didn't want to offend Ryan.
Ryan has no idea who Bozo the Clown is. Not a shot. But I promise you, Dave, you've been here a long time. I have a lot of respect for you. You've been doing your job for a long time. We will put that in that'll be the first quote we put in there.
PJ, what did you think of Carter Menzies' performance on Friday?
I think Carter's a great example of the developmental program. Carter Menz, he came to us, and he's a Dakota kid, and, which I kind of consider at times in state, when you're kind of looking at where we're recruiting. And again, he was long, twitchy, great athlete. But again, you look at his size, you're like, all right, it's going to take some years to get him to where he needs to be. He has completely bought in to the nutrition, the diet, the weight room. It takes players a year or two to get to where they need to be. This is a huge year for him, a huge year. And what I told our team the other day is because they were both players of the game. We have a bunch of players of the game. They both were, Jackson Howard and him. And I kind of said, once our team is very selfless to begin with. And I said, the more selfless we can be, the better we're going to be. There was a time where Boye Mafe was the guy. And then, oh, wow, Thomas Rush came on, and we started, hey, Boye, we got to back your reps down and give Thomas more, and it's going to help you both. One of the best pictures I have in my office is at Colorado, and it's Boye and Thomas both jumping on each other, celebrating a sack. I said, this is what we got to create with Jackson and Carter. And they're all in. And I've watched Carter just continue to get better and better and better. And over the last few games, you just seen this meteoric rise from him. And you're like, he's got to play. And I think he took advantage of his opportunities. And he is just scratching the surface. This is nowhere near how good he can be. But I think it's the first right step and the first next step in his development.
Do one or two more for Coach?
PJ, I got a question from Daniel House. He was wondering about,
boy.
I'm not going to be able to do it justice, but generally speaking, he was curious about the I formation looks you guys had and how that came about and how you felt like it affected the run game.
Yeah, I mean, we've had that in our system. We worked on it in the spring. It's part of what we do and how we do it. I think it gave us an advantage of different angles. I mean, when you look at Nebraska and you play Nebraska, I mean, you all saw them, and they're really impressive looking defense. They're very, very talented. They're twitchy. They're long. They're strong. They're deep. But we felt like our angles were going to be really critical, and the I formation allowed us to be able to create some of that. A lot of the lead plays, short motions, gave us some angles, got some backers to move the way we wanted them to move. And I think, Frank Bierman is one of the most selfless players on this team. And, I'm playing fullback here, which, we've evolved into having a fullback here and there. But he's also a tight end. He made some nice catches for us. But having him and his mindset and his toughness allow us to set that type of tone that we wanted to set. And not to say we haven't had that type of I formation in some of the game plans, but again, we got out of some things pretty quick because of some scores. But this was a little bit more of our flow, and I thought we got into that rhythm early. But I thought it created some really good advantages with us, not just the numbers wise, but the angles and that mindset that we wanted to create. There was a lot of jabs going on. I'm a big UFC fan. A lot of jabs, jabs here, jabs there. A lot of people wanted the uppercut. Not just keep jabbing, keep kicking them in the shin. The shin kicks as you watch UFC. I mean, you can hear those, and how does that person? Then you see a little welt growing on the shin, and it gets all red, and then there's some blood coming off the shin. They're not pretty, and they're not that exciting, but you do that in the first half, and we knew that was going to be that type of game. And the I formation helped us with a little bit of creating that. And then you can go for some uppercuts later on, and then that was the kind of game it was going to be. It's not how every game will go. Every game's its own entity. And we're creating a game plan for this week, which could be completely different. This is a really good football team that we're playing this week that we have a ton of respect for.
Final one for Coach, or is everyone all set? All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Row the boat, Sky Mile, go Gophers. Thank you.